Before Brady, before Mahomes, before Red Zone and fantasy took over Sundays, there was the 1990s. A decade where dynasties clashed, legends were born, and the league transformed from a gritty American tradition into a global entertainment empire. The K-Gun offense torched defenses before they could catch their breath, and Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones broke up a dynasty over ego and champagne. Brett Favre rose, Joe Montana was traded, Deion switched sides. The Cowboys became America's team again, and we were this close to a Jags-Panthers Super Bowl. Games got wilder, passing exploded, stadiums modernized, and the business of football hit warp speed.
I gotta take this call, guys.
From wide right to mile-high heartbreak, from Steve Young's vindication to Elway's redemption, we're making the case that no era captured the chaos, characters, and transformation of football quite like the 1990s. Buckle up, we're about to prove why the 90s was peak NFL.
What an unbelievable finish to this game.
The decade opened with a bang in Buffalo's first chapter in a Shakespearean tragedy.
No good. Wide right.
But the 1990 season also brought significant structural change. In the first full season under Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, the league expanded the playoff format from 10 to 12 teams, reintroduced bye weeks, and extended the regular season to 17 weeks so that each team had a week off. The league also expanded the American Bowl Series, playing 4 preseason games overseas in Tokyo, London, Montreal, and Berlin in an early signal of its international ambitions. Warren Moon threw for 4,689 yards and 33 touchdowns, clearing the field by 700 yards. Derek Thomas sacked poor Dave Craig, an NFL record 7 times in a game. And Jerry Rice caught 100 balls, leading the league in receiving.
End zone, it's a touchdown, Jerry Rice, number 5.
The guy who threw him those 100 balls, Joe Montana, won his second straight MVP in what would prove to be his last healthy season in San Fran. He threw 26 touchdowns and 16 picks, a number that would be more likely to lead the league today than earn you an MVP, but Boomer Esiason threw 22 that season. The Niners, looking for a three-peat, took a league-best 14-2 record into the playoffs, where they met the Parcells Giants in the NFC Championship game. Montana got knocked out and replaced by Steve Young, and the Niners got knocked out and replaced by the Giants in the Super Bowl.
And the kick is good. There will be no three-peat.
The team that would meet the Giants in Tampa, the Buffalo Bills, who had unleashed the K-Gun offense. Marv Levy and Ted Marchibroda's diabolical new scheme overwhelmed defenses with an aggressive no-huddle, high-tempo attack. With Jim Kelly at the helm to operate it, the K-Gun became one of the most dynamic and influential offenses in NFL history. The Bills led the league in 1990, averaging 26.8 points per game.
Kelly completes for the touchdown.
But Marchibroda did not coach special teams. Enter Scott Norwood, stage right, exit Super Bowl trophy, wide right.
Here we go with 8 seconds to play. Get ready. High drama here in the Super Bowl. Snap, spot, in the air. It's got the distance. It is.
The first of Buffalo's 4 consecutive Super Bowl losses. The 1990 draft fueled the pipeline with future stars like Cortez Kennedy and Junior Seau, but the true gem came at pick number 17 when the Dallas Cowboys selected Emmitt Smith.
Under the trade that I just described, Dallas selects Emmitt Smith, running back from Florida.
A team and running back that would prove to be relevant in the 1990s. Emmitt rose to stardom in 1991, leading the league in rushing with over 1,500 yards.
First down, and a lot more. Emmitt Smith being chased down. They will not get him.
But it wasn't the Cowboys' time yet. The season belonged to Thurman Thomas. Thurman showcased his dual threat ability, topping 2,000 yards from scrimmage in the K-gun. He was the engine of a Bills unit that led the league in total offense and became the first of 4 iconic running backs to win an MVP in the 90s.
Thurman Thomas! Jazz scavenger hunts for stunts with blunt narratives. Play the cards right, putting jokers in ace bandages, burning the characters in brown packages, biodegradable examiners. Take a whip of the parameters. K9 ain't nothing but the dog in me.
Third-year running back Barry Sanders finished 15 yards behind Emmett for the rushing title, while leading the league with 16 touchdowns and leading the Lions to a 12-4 revival and their first divisional title in the modern era. The Saints, another traditional league doormat, broke through in '91 as well with their first ever division title, edging out the too legit to quit Falcons, who helped round out the NFC playoff picture.
Another day at the office for this Saints defense.
The Eagles fielded the league's most ferocious defense, ranked number 1 against the pass, run, and total defense, achieving the rare Triple Crown.
Let's go with it, baby. Let's go with it.
It was a season that demonstrated the depth of the competition in the NFL, even as one team stood above the rest.
Let's hit it now, let's go! If I get this thing, let's go! Let's earn it today now, let's earn it!
Washington had a season for the ages in 1991. Joe Gibbs' team went 14-2 with Mark Rippon at the helm. They outscored their opponents by 261 points in the regular season and are remembered as one of the most balanced teams ever.
Super Bowl number 26. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden.
All year you could see this match coming like a collision course.
Super Bowl 26 proved to be a coronation as the defense stifled Buffalo, forcing 5 turnovers. Rippon passed for 290-plus yards and earned the game's MVP. The win marked Washington's 3rd championship in 10 years, the league's forgotten dynasty.
Say I'm going to Disney World, I'm coming with you.
Buffalo, meanwhile, suffered its 2nd straight Super Bowl defeat. In a fitting moment that symbolized the Bills' frustration, the league's MVP misplaced his helmet at the start of the game, causing him to miss Buffalo's first 2 plays.
I think Thurman Thomas is coming into the game now. I think Kenneth Davis went to the wrong side. Kelly called the ball to one side. Davis went to the other side.
The 91 season marked a changing of the guard, the last hurrah for some 80s legends, Joe Gibbs, Chuck Noll. A new class of young stars was emerging that would begin to define the decade.
And Dion, high-stepping from midfield. Touchdown, Atlanta, 100 yards for Deion Sanders.
Well, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
The balance of power shifted in 1992 as the Dallas Cowboys arrived as the NFL's next superpower. A team full of young, dynamic talent and Texas swagger burst onto the scene with what would become the most famous trio in NFL history.
Showtime.
Emmett won his 2nd straight rushing title and racked up 18 touchdowns. Troy Aikman broke out for over 3,400 yards and 23 TDs, and Michael Irvin caught 78 balls for over 1,300 yards and 7 tuds.
What I do? Make plays!
Nothing but make plays, baby.
Oh, and a defense led by Charles Haley, Ken Norton, and rookie Darren Woodson led the league in total defense, allowing just 15.3 points per game.
Rippon by Jeff Coat.
Philadelphia's defensive end Reggie White amassed 14 sacks and won a landmark court case that would pave the way for modern NFL free agency and bring his time to Philly to an end.
Reggie White, who has more sacks than games played.
Barry Sanders was awesome again, though statistically he wasn't the league's best Barry. That was Pittsburgh's Barry Foster, who ran for over 1,600 yards.
You want to score a touchdown?
Yeah.
Well, then go.
The hole right side, Foster to the 10 is going to score.
The 49ers are the smoothest brand of jazz.
Joe Montana missed the entire regular season with an elbow injury, effectively ending his 49ers career. Steve Young took the reins and never looked back. Young threw 25 TDs with just 7 INTs and led the NFL in passer rating, showcasing his accuracy and mobility.
Some outside pressure from Swilling. He gets away, decides to run to the 25, to the 20, breaks the tackle, up the middle, at the 1-yard line. They stop him just short of a touchdown.
He also added 537 yards rushing on his way to league MVP and igniting the all-time QB controversy in San Fran. With Joe Cool looking on, it was Young's Niners and their 14-2 record who claimed the NFC's top seed and the mantle of Super Bowl favorites.
Road to Pasadena comes through Candlestick now, baby.
They were on a collision course with the Cowboys, and the rivalry came to a head in the NFC Championship at a soggy, muddy Candlestick Park.
Run with Smith. Good call here.
That's a better call.
The winner would not just head to Super Bowl 27, but also claim the right to rule the NFC and potentially the NFL for years to come. The Cowboys took it 30-20, signaling the passing of the torch from one dynasty to the next.
NFC Championship, baby. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. You know the game don't stop, so we doing this for them. We do it for hip-hop.
On the AFC side of the bracket, it was the Bills again, this time pulling off the greatest comeback in NFL history, trailing 35-3 in a wild card game versus the Oilers. Backup QB Frank Reich led Buffalo to a 41-38 win.
Between 30 and 40, as you saw. It is right down the middle.
That momentum carried Buffalo back to the Super Bowl, where they ran into a Dallas buzzsaw. The Cowboys demolished the Bills 52-17, giving Dallas its first championship since the 1970s and coach Jimmy Johnson his first NFL title. America's team was back and better than ever.
Congratulations to both of you.
Jimmy, put your hands out here with this.
Jerry, you signed the checks, so you go first.
Well, I will go first. First of all, I want everybody that enjoys sports, want them to know how special this is for these group of people. I can't say enough for what Jimmy has done. He's given his heart and soul to us having a winning football team.
The 1993 offseason was as dynamic as the league has ever seen. The NFL entered its true free agency era, and under the new system, any veteran meeting service time requirements was free to sign with a team of their choice. Reggie White, the poster boy of NFL free agency, left Philly and signed with the Packers in a landmark deal that forever changed the NFL.
I'm bringing the sack to the pack.
Fox hired John Madden and Pat Summerall in preparation for taking over the NFC package in '94.
You just get the feeling in the stadium, and I'll guarantee you it's big.
The league awarded expansion franchises to Carolina and Jacksonville, with the new teams set to take the field in '95.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
And the biggest story of the offseason was the greatest quarterback the league had ever seen. Joe Montana was being traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs sent a first-round pick to San Fran. The Niners could move on with the reigning MVP, and Montana had a fresh start with Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs.
Joe Montana making his AFC debut.
Dallas started 0-2 with the reigning rushing champ holding out in a contract dispute. Jerry signed him to a new deal ahead of Week 3.
All right.
And despite spotting the league a 2-week head start, Emmett still won the rushing title and league MVP.
62 yards to put the game away.
In the season finale, he played through a separated shoulder to beat the Giants and clinch home field advantage, something they might have wrapped up earlier if Leon Lett hadn't invented a whole new way to lose a game a few weeks earlier.
Doug Peterson to hold. Blocked. The Cowboys will win. Wait a minute. Will was in the end zone. No one covered it, and Miami did. No! The kicking team gets awarded the ball at the spot in the field of play, first down. This is less than an extra point, and with 3 seconds left, Miami is that close to pulling this one out. The Dolphins pull it out. 16-14.
The 1993 NFL playoffs were a fitting climax of farewell tours, dynasty declarations, and one final gasp from one of the most resilient teams of the decade. On the AFC side, Montana gave a vintage run, pulling off a dramatic win against the Steelers to give KC its first playoff win in 22 years, then out-dueling Warren Moon in the Dome to punch KC's ticket to the AFC Championship, where they would meet who else but Buffalo. Buffalo's defense battered Montana, knocking him out of what would be his final conference title game. Thurman Thomas dominated again, rushing for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns, sending Buffalo to a 4th straight Super Bowl.
First and goal at the 3. Thomas walks in.
In the NFC, Brett Favre made his playoff debut, tossing a 40-yard game-winning touchdown to Sterling Sharp with less than a minute to play to beat the Lions.
Favre goes for the whole thing.
But it was all about the seemingly inevitable Niners-Cowboys rematch in the NFC Championship game. Once more, the Cowboys imposed their will. Emmitt Smith, despite a banged-up shoulder, rushed for 88 yards and scored twice, while Troy Aikman threw 2 TDs in a 38-21 victory, setting the stage for yet another 90s sequel, Dallas and Buffalo in Super Bowl 28.
Atlanta, Georgia. Dallas, the NFC champions, defending Super Bowl champions against the Buffalo Bills from the AFC.
This time, Buffalo started strong, taking a 13-6 halftime lead, but then came the second half. Emmitt took over, scoring twice and finishing with 132 rushing yards. The Bills committed 3 second-half turnovers, and the Cowboys' defense slammed the door shut.
And here comes the Cowboys. It's Thomas Everett with one man to beat Tina, and now he's on his way. Don Beebe, the lone Bills, touchdown, Dallas!
Final score, 30-13. Emmitt was named Super Bowl MVP, capping off an MVP season and solidifying his claim as the best back of the era. The Cowboys became the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls since the late 80s 49ers. And for the Bills, it was heartbreak number 4. The run was incredible. The ending was cruel.
Anyone who has ever been an athlete, been part of a team, to be so close, so often, Dick, that's almost painful to look at the Buffalo bench.
But it's certainly been such a good, but yet such a bad 1990s.
The Cowboys were riding high into 1994 in pursuit of the three-peat under head coach Barry Switzer.
We got a job to do, and we're gonna do it, baby!
Just 2 months after hoisting a second Lombardi, Jimmy Johnson was out as head coach. Enter Switzer, formerly the head coach at Oklahoma. He kept the machine running, leading Dallas to another division title behind a top 10 offense and defense. But the biggest threat to Dallas's dominance was brewing in San Francisco. The Niners reloaded, adding Deion Sanders and Ken Norton to stiffen their defense. The offense, already loaded, went nuclear in '94. Young threw for 35 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards and added 7 more TDs on the ground.
What at Steve Young with the middle opening up like the Red Sea.
Jerry Rice looked unstoppable at age 32, breaking the career touchdown record in Week 1 on Monday night versus the Raiders. Ricky Watters had over 1,500 yards from scrimmage.
I'm young, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
The Niners scored a league-best 31.6 points per game, and Young cruised to his second MVP in 2 years. '94 also saw the emergence of young talent, most notably Marshall Faulk in Indianapolis, who piled up over 1,700 yards from scrimmage en route to the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year award.
Wide open Marshall Faulk. A foot race with Harvey, and this is a touchdown.
Barry Sanders dazzled yet again, flirting with 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Emmitt crossed 100 career touchdowns at a record clip, and a young bruiser named Jerome Bettis bulldozed his way to a 1,000-yard season.
On the handoff to Bettis, and Jerome Bettis went over 1,000 yards with that carry to the 28-yard line.
The running back position was in a golden era, and the league in general was in a sweet spot where established veterans, Young, Rice, Sanders, were playing at peak levels while new stars were on the rise.
Touchdown, Sharp!
There was also a QB revival in Miami. Dan Marino made a triumphant return from an Achilles injury. Marino threw for 30 touchdowns and over 4,400 yards, the most memorable of those touchdowns coming on the fake spike to beat the Jets, one of the decade's iconic plays.
Marino takes the snap from center. He's looking. He throws. Right! Touchdown, Dolphins! Mark Ingram! They caught the Jets off guard on that play, Jim.
Off the field, 1994 was revolutionary for fans watching on TV.
Enough of this garbage. I want football!
Fox Sports took over the NFC television rights from CBS, bringing a fresh presentation.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Kevin Harlan with you, and welcome to the christening of the NFL on Fox.
They introduced the constant score graphic, the Fox Box, so viewers always saw the score and game clock, an innovation soon copied by every network, and they gave Jimmy Johnson a new gig on Fox NFL Sunday with Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and James Brown on the desk, and of course John Madden and Pat Summerall in the booth.
This is opening Sunday of the NFL season.
The innovation was complemented by great football in Week 7 when Kansas City's 37-year-old Joe Montana had one last magical Monday Night Football moment, outdueling John Elway in Denver and leading the Chiefs to a comeback win with a last-second TD pass.
He throws to the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown by Davis. Willie Davis, unbelievable.
Montana Magic one more time in a game many consider the best Monday Night Football game of the decade. Montana's old team, however, had more than a few magical moments left as they headed into the playoffs.
Candlestick Park in San Francisco, and the sun has been out all day.
In the much-anticipated NFC Championship trilogy against the Cowboys, the 49ers finally broke through, jumping out to a quick 21-0 lead.
And Davis will score for the 49ers.
The defense forced 3 first-quarter turnovers, all leading to scores. Dion locked down Michael Irvin most of the day. In the end, the Dragon was slayed 38-28.
And it's his day, and it's his team.
Young then exorcised any remaining ghosts of Joe Montana by delivering a record-setting performance in Super Bowl 29 as the 49ers routed the San Diego Chargers, a surprise and clearly overmatched AFC champion, by a score of 49-26. Steve Young threw 6 touchdown passes in the game and earned MVP honors. The 1994 49ers weren't just great, they were vindicated. They proved they could win it all with a new leader, a rebuilt defense, and an unstoppable offense that defined West Coast brilliance.
I really wish that anyone ever played football could feel this.
1995 brought the debut of 2 brand new franchises, the Carolina Panthers and Jacksonville Jaguars. Both the Jags and Panthers were immediately competitive. Incredibly, the Panthers under Don Capers went 7-9, at the time the best ever record for a first-year expansion team. They even beat the defending champion 49ers during the season.
Pumps, rushes, throws, picked off! McIntyre down the near sideline!
Led by QB Kerry Collins and a stout defense, Carolina proved the expansion draft and free agency could create a respectable team overnight. In Jacksonville, coach Tom Coughlin's Jaguars started 0-5, but improved to finish 4-12, showing promise behind young QB Mark Brunell and receiver Jimmy Smith.
Smith is open, touchdown, Jaguars!
The St. Louis Rams and Oakland Raiders kicked off in their new cities, and yet another team announced a move that shook the football world.
Jim Brown looking on to what could well be the final game here at Cleveland Stadium.
Cleveland Browns owner Art Modell announced the team was moving to Baltimore. By the mid-90s, Modell was deeply in debt and struggling to keep the franchise afloat in crumbling Municipal Stadium. He was lured to Baltimore by the promise of a new stadium and a financial lifeline. The reaction in Cleveland was fury and heartbreak.
This represents the closing of a chapter of some kind for this era.
The NFL moved quickly to broker a compromise. The Browns franchise would be deactivated with the guarantee of a new team by 1999, which would inherit the Browns' name, colors, and records.
A salute to what the Cleveland Browns have been, and to the fans who have supported them so well for so long, and so long for today from Cleveland.
On the field, the league was in for an unprecedented offensive explosion.
These guys are all doing it here today.
The NFL smashed all-time records for points and passing yards. Brett Favre, Scott Mitchell, Warren Moon, and Jeff George each topped 4,000 yards passing.
Pass complete, Eric Metcalf, and he is all alone. Touchdown, Atlanta.
The Lions led the league in total yards behind Herman Moore's NFL record 123 catches and 1,500 rushing yards from Barry.
He is gone.
Jerry Rice finished the year with 122 catches, one off of Moore's new record pace, and set the single-season record for receiving yards with 1,848.
And Jerry Rice is now the all-time leading receiver in yardage as he breaks the record held by James Lofton.
In Week 16, Rice had his best ever statistical game, 14 catches for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns. Arguably the greatest game in the greatest season of the greatest career. Jerry Rice at his peak.
How in the world can he get that open?
On the AFC side, defense won the day.
Let's go!
Bill Cowher's Steelers made a Super Bowl run behind a grinding defense and an inventive offense that featured the debut of Cordell/Stewart as a dual-threat QB.
How do you guys know these? Oh, he's going to score! He's got to go all the way for a touchdown!
The best 3 teams in the league, however, stacked the NFC side of the bracket. The defending champ 49ers boasted the league's top offense, and the Cowboys were at the peak of their powers, with Emmett posting the best year of his career, and they picked Prime from San Francisco, winning the arms race and making him the highest paid defensive player in history, despite not joining the team until Week 9 because he was still playing Major League Baseball.
Jerry Jones is saying that's what he paid him $35 million for.
The ascendant Packers were the 3 seed, riding the rocket arm of 26-year-old Brett Favre, who won his first of 3 straight MVPs in '95.
That football had smoke coming out of his tail. Did you see that one? It left a vapor trail.
Favre's gunslinging style and toughness made him the face of the league's new generation. The Packers stormed into Candlestick, heavy underdogs against the defending champs, and came out hot, picking Steve Young on the opening drive and building an early lead that would eventually bury the Niners' repeat hopes and send the Pack to Dallas for the NFC Championship, a seismic shift in the conference's power structure. Favre came out swinging again, taking a 27-24 lead into the second half, but playing in his 4th straight NFC Championship game, Emmett took over, finishing with 150 yards and 3 touchdowns on 35 carries. A reminder that even in a breakout year for QBs, the 90s still belong to the running back.
Smith and Emmett headed for the end zone. Touchdown.
The Cowboys returned to the pinnacle of pro football, beating the Steelers 27-17 in Super Bowl 30, their 3rd championship in 4 years. It was the last great moment of the Cowboys dynasty, cementing their status as the most famous team in all of sports. 1996 brought a new world order to the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens played their inaugural season. Despite going 4-12 out of the gate, they began building an identity immediately with rookie linebacker Ray Lewis.
Jeez, is that ball caught?
Yeah.
It is by the defense.
Brett Favre cemented himself as the new face of the league with a second straight MVP. Favre tossed 39 touchdowns and led the league's top scoring offense. Sanders rushed for over 1,500 yards, but as always with Barry, it's not just how many yards, it's how he earns them.
Barry Sanders off the pitch right, midfield, 45, breaks 40, Barry 35, spins free, 30, 25, middle of the field, 20, 15, 10, holy mackerel, down and in, touchdown! Lions, what a run by Barry Sanders. That one may be one of the all-time best.
The 96 Broncos were an AFC powerhouse on a mission.
That's what makes the NFL fun, boys.
After several underwhelming playoff exits earlier in the Elway era, this team felt different. Mike Shanahan retooled their identity to a run-first offense, riding breakout running back Terrell Davis to 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns. The Broncos entered the AFC divisional playoffs as the #1 overall seed, rested, healthy, and red hot.
Looks that way, it's picked up! Yeah! Yeah!
But after sneaking into the playoffs at 9-7 and upsetting the Bills in the wild card round, the Jacksonville Jaguars, in just their second year of existence, marched into Mile High for the divisional round. The heavily favored Broncos had no answer for the ambush led by Mark Brunell and Natron Means. The result was one of the biggest playoff upsets ever and a shocking end to what appeared to be Elway's best shot at a Super Bowl.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have upset Denver 30-27.
On the other side of the bracket, the other second-year expansion team, Carolina, was the story. The Panthers went 12-4 to win the NFC West. Yeah, Carolina was in the NFC West, and then beat the defending champ Cowboys in the divisional round.
This place is going wild. This is what it's all about.
Both second-year expansion teams not only made the playoffs, but advanced to their conference championship games, one of the most remarkable feats in NFL history. The road would end there, however, as they would get toppled by the Packers and Pats, the two teams that would meet in New Orleans for Super Bowl 31.
And what a perfect day to mark the greatest sports day on the world's calendar. You're looking at the city of New Orleans, nestling on a crescent of the great Mississippi River.
For the Patriots, coached by Bill Parcells and led by QB Drew Bledsoe, it was a breakthrough season, their first Super Bowl appearance since the mid-'80s, but they ran into a Packers team of destiny.
Favre back to throw his first one. Going deep, has a man open, Andre Rison.
Sparked by big plays from game MVP Desmond Howard, who returned to kickoff 99 yards for a touchdown in the second half, and an electric game from Favre, the NFC extended its win streak to 13 consecutive Super Bowls and returned the Lombardi to Titletown.
They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Green Bay.
The title also completed Reggie White's personal mission in coming to Green Bay as a free agent. The Minister of Defense had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl, validating his decision and free agency's impact.
Reggie White's going to take over this game right now.
By the end of 1996, the NFL had fully transitioned into the post-Cowboys dynasty phase. The Packers were champs, new franchises were proving themselves, old cities had new teams, and the league's youth movement was in full swing. Brett Favre kept his foot on the gas in '97, leading the defending champs to a 13-3 record and tossing another 35 TDs en route to an unprecedented third straight MVP.
Down pass number 3, the second to Antonio Freeman.
This one, though, he split with Barry Sanders, who rushed for what was the second highest total in NFL history and ripped off a streak of 14 straight games with over 100 rush yards, amounting to one of the greatest individual seasons in league history.
Barry Sanders into Tampa Bay territory. Sanders at the 10, he'll score.
He carried the Lions into the playoffs as a wild card, where they ran into the ascendant Tampa Bay Bucks in their brand new pewter uniforms. The perennial doormat of the NFC Central burst onto the scene under head coach Tony Dungy and a young defense featuring Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks.
Your first playoff win as a head coach, how does it feel?
It feels great, Ron. We've come a long way. I'm so proud of these guys.
The old guard 49ers saw a changing of the guard at receiver with Jerry Rice battling injury. Second-year wideout Terrell Owens stepped into a starring role. But for the third straight season, the Niners would fall to the Packers, who were gunning for back-to-back titles and potential dynasty status.
Hits Freeman. Antonio Freeman puts the Packers ahead further.
In the AFC, the Chiefs boasted the league's best defense and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but as it often did in the Schottenheimer era, the lack of offense proved to be their undoing.
And the Denver Broncos will advance against the Steelers on the road in Kansas City. Elway and Denver has denied Schottenheimer again.
The Broncos' 14 points was enough for Elway's first road playoff win in a decade, and it wouldn't be his last. Denver rode AFC leading rusher Terrell Davis to a win over the Steelers at Three Rivers Stadium and a berth in Super Bowl 32.
The Wild Cards have won 3 in a row on the road.
After 3 Super Bowl losses in the 80s and a crushing playoff loss in 96, the Broncos entered as heavy dogs to the defending champs.
Is he in the end zone? Touchdown!
Matters only got worse when their star back was sidelined for part of the game with a migraine.
What's that? I can't see. Okay, just do this. You don't worry about seeing on this place because we're going to fake it to you, the 15 lead. But if you're not in there, they won't believe we're going to run, okay?
But TD would return to give the Cheeseheads a headache, setting a Super Bowl record with 3 rushing touchdowns and 157 yards.
Broncos with a mile-high salute.
But the defining image of the game, and possibly the decade, came on a crucial 3rd and 6 when John Elway took off.
Almost offside, but the Packers got back on. Elway scrambling, looking, running, diving inside the 5-yard line for a first down. Is he only 37? How bad does John Elway want to win this football game?
Davis was the MVP, but the game was legacy-defining for Elway. John got his first ring, snapped the 13-year streak of NFC Super Bowl dominance, and ended the dynasty dreams for the Packers. Brett Favre would never return to the Super Bowl.
This one's for John.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to the National Football League's 1998 player draft.
The top 2 picks in the legendary 98 draft were quarterbacks Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf.
I'm looking forward to the challenge of getting the program going, and it's a really exciting time right now.
Manning would lead the league with 28 picks in his rookie season before going on to become Peyton Manning.
Manning takes the snap, throws to Marvin, touchdown!
For Leaf, a rough start would only get rougher, going on to become one of the biggest busts in league history. The class also included Charles Woodson, Fred Taylor, Hines Ward, and Alan Faneca.
The Minnesota Vikings have selected wide receiver from Marshall University.
Oh, and Randy Moss.
He got his A game.
Moss's combination of size and speed made him virtually uncoverable. When he was dropped into Brian Billick's offense with Randall Cunningham, Chris Carter, and Robert Smith, the Vikings instantly became the most explosive offense the league had ever seen.
Look out, here goes Robert Smith. He might go the distance. 10-5, touchdown.
The Vikings went 15-1, scored a then NFL record 556 points, including a rookie record 17 touchdowns from Moss, and seemed destined for the Super Bowl.
And it is Moss getting position, touchdown. He's unstoppable.
Man. But, as they often do, the Vikings season came down to a kick. In the NFC Championship, the Vikings sent out Gary Anderson.
And Anderson hasn't missed in 2 years.
Who had been perfect all season, to attempt a 38-yard chip shot to all but seal their trip to Super Bowl 33. The kick went left, the game went to OT, and the Dirty Bird Falcons went to Miami. Minnesota fans are still haunted by the what-if of the best team not to make the Super Bowl.
He knows it. They know it.
The defending champion Broncos started 13-0 and were the class of the AFC yet again. Terrell Davis was the focal point. He rushed for 2,008 yards, becoming just the 4th player ever to break 2,000 yards.
Davis breaks a tackle. He's got 2,000.
Broncos ran the table in the AFC playoffs before dominating Dan Reeves' Falcons in Super Bowl 33. Elway threw for 336 yards to win MVP honors, announcing his retirement and riding off into the sunset as back-to-back champ.
Elway, the most valuable player.
The legacy of the '98 season was the foreshadowing of the offensive explosion to come. Outside of the Vikings and Broncos, the 49ers, Jets, Packers, and Bills all put up over 400 points, the opening act for the greatest show on turf. Barry Sanders, who had shared MVP in '97 and still gained 1,491 yards in '98, shocked the sports world by retiring abruptly right before training camp in July 1999.
Holy cow! That's a new one. We thought we had seen it all.
Sanders walked away at 31 years old and less than 1,500 yards shy of the all-time rushing record.
Barry on the misdirection play makes Bankston miss, and there he goes!
The '99 season also saw Dan Marino play his final game, leaving with the career records for passing yards and passing touchdowns. Just as the league said goodbye to two all-time greats, another one came out of absolutely nowhere. A grocery clerk named Kurt Warner became league MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and the greatest Cinderella story in the history of the NFL.
Isaac Bruce, touchdown!
The St. Louis Rams went 4-12 in 1998 and entered the '99 season with modest expectations. The bar dropped even lower after losing starting quarterback Trent Green to injury and a teary-eyed press conference from coach Dick Vermeil.
We will rally around Kurt Warner, and we'll play good football.
Enter Kurt Warner, a 28-year-old undrafted quarterback who had been stocking shelves in a grocery store and playing in the Arena Football League just a few years earlier. With Warner's accuracy and quick release, the Rams' offense, featuring Marshall Faulk and Pro Bowl receivers Isaac Bruce and Azir Hakim, became an unstoppable juggernaut.
Hakim with the touchdown. 51 yards. Kurt Warner to Azir Hakim.
St. Louis averaged 32.9 points per game, and Warner posted a 109.2 passer rating and 41 touchdowns en route to a 13-3 record, shocking the sports world.
Azir Hakim on the receiving end. He breaks a couple of tackles, including Sean Williams, and he may score.
The Indianapolis Colts also authored a miraculous turnaround, going 13-3 behind second-year QB Peyton Manning and rookie sensation Edgerrin James. Throw in Marvin Harrison, and the Colts had a young, potent trio poised to dominate the AFC for years to come.
Looking for Harrison! Touchdown!
Tennessee, in their first year as the Titans, also posted a 13-3 record, good for only a second-place finish in their own division behind the 14-2 Jags.
Time, throws, touchdown!
The new-look Titans were led by gritty quarterback Steve McNair and back Eddie George.
Eddie George in the toss sweep. Look at the hole! Touchdown! Holy cow, what a run!
Their '99 playoff run was nothing short of miraculous.
Come on, man.
Dyson and Bird are deep. Taken by Neal.
Pitches it back to Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson.
He's got something.
30,
He's got
40,
something.
50,
He's got it.
40,
He's got it.
20, 10.
He's got it.
End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field.
No flags on the play. It is a touchdown.
Well, actually, it was exactly 1 yard short of miraculous.
It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in?
The Rams and Titans faced off in Super Bowl 34 in what remains the most improbable Super Bowl matchup of all time, and an instant classic. The Rams built a 16-0 lead before the Titans rallied to tie it. With under 2 minutes left, Warner threw one up to the heavens.
At the 27-yard line. Going deep downfield, adjusting for it is Isaac Bruce, and Isaac Bruce threads his way for a touchdown. 73 yards.
In the final seconds, the Titans drove to the Rams' 10-yard line, but came up a foot short of history.
It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in? No, No, he cannot! And the Rams have won the Super Bowl!
The Rams and Kurt Warner had their Hollywood ending, from unknown backup to league and Super Bowl MVP in the span of 5 months. The Rams' quick strike, dome-powered offense would influence NFL trends for years to come, ushering in a new era of spread pass-first football. The 90s NFL was pure entertainment. We got Favre's gunslinging, Emmett's iron toughness, Barry's impossible jukes, Jerry's ageless wonder, and Dion's primetime persona. It was a decade when Buffalo became synonymous with heartbreak, Dallas with swagger, Denver with redemption, and Kurt Warner with fairy tale magic. In short, the 90s were football at its most ridiculous, unpredictable, glorious best. Proof that sometimes truth is way better than fiction. The greatest decade in NFL history. I rest my case.